Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Consumed, the podcast where we talk about everything that consumes me, consumes us, and consumes this journey that we call life in general. This week, we are going to be talking about consistency. Consumed. Consistency. What I have been doing on YouTube is a thing called Momentum Mondays. On my last Momentum Monday, I did try out this podcast format and I personally liked it. And I think I want to integrate it more as part of the Momentum Monday series. It's always nice to have a reason to get into reflecting and analyzing myself and being self-aware. And I think that you guys as viewers or listeners can benefit from that as well. So one thing that I struggle with is consistency. Even on this YouTube channel, I'm not the best with consistently posting and consistently just being consistent. I was trying to find some resources to give me some feedback or tips and of how I can improve that. So I came across this blog post on the Positivity blog, 7 tips for keeping consistent and taking consistent action. And these are definitely easier said than done. But if you're looking for some helpful tips, these could be helpful. And I definitely am going to try and implement these. And it's something that I really want to improve on, is just being more consistent. So tip number 1 is having a morning ritual. And he says, this is perhaps the most powerful tip I have found so far in this area. You simply set up a routine in the morning that you do as soon as you wake up. Now, I agree with this. I find that anytime I have a good start to my day, I have a good proceeding to my day and a good finish to my day. Does that make sense? Yeah, I think having a good start to your day is really important. The struggle here is I'm 100% a night owl. I just get all this energy around 10:30, 11 p.m. and my brain just does not want to shut off until 2, 3 a.m. And I've just been like that my whole life. I've never been a morning person. But I do feel like regardless of if you're a night owl or not, it's good to at least get a decent start to your day. Even if that is starting a little bit later than, what most morning people would say. You don't have to get up at 5 a.m. or anything. You can get up at 9, 10 a.m. if your schedule permits that. But getting up forcefully and getting up with purpose and getting up and getting into a routine, I've always found has given me better results in my day than when I'm more lethargic and when I just kind of lollygag into my day. It's never as good. Number 2 is do things even if you don't feel like it. Now I honestly read this and I was like, no shit, Sherlock. Duh. That's the definition of consistency. The definition of inconsistency. This, I read this and I was like, that's not a tip, that's just describing an inconsistent person. So again, this is much easier said than done, but I will tell you that with this one, the only way that you're going to be able to do this, if you are just inherently inconsistent and you just have this bad habit ingrained in you, the only way that you're going to be able to beat this is with some kind of accountability, whether that's accountability from yourself, which is gonna be really hard, or accountability from someone else. I would much more suggest accountability from someone else, because obviously if you know you're inconsistent, you're not a good person to hold yourself accountable, obviously. So you need a friend or a parent or a coworker or someone. You need to voice your goals to someone that you trust to hold you accountable, and make sure that they are the one that's pushing you when you don't feel like it, because there's going to be times where you don't feel like it and you're not going to want to do it and you're just going to want to not do whatever it is that you're trying to do, whether it's losing weight or practicing a sport or an instrument or studying. You're not going to want to do it, and you're going to put it off if that's in your character to normally do so. So you need to have, if it's a study buddy or a workout partner or a music teacher or someone to hold you accountable, you need that. Tip number 3, don't hurt yourself. So realize that when you disappoint yourself and don't think and do as you really deep down want to, you hurt yourself by lowering your self-esteem. Now, this one is huge. So the biggest thing with consistency, I think, is this like cycle that you get into where it's like you don't feel like doing it, whatever it is, you don't do it, then hours or days later you have this overwhelming feeling of guilt. Now you're behind on whatever schedule you had initially planned out for yourself, and you just feel like, oh, it's not even worth catching up on because now I'm behind. And then the guilt gets larger and larger and larger, and then you just start to like just beat yourself up and have just the lowest self-esteem, and that is not good. What you have to do is you have to forgive yourself and you have to start over. Just start over from scratch and just try your best, and do not beat yourself up. It's okay if you need a mental health day. It's okay. Like, don't be so hard on yourself. Like a good example is YouTube. So I've have 2 YouTube channels. This one that I've had this channel for 2 years now, a little over 2 years now. I also thought that like YouTube success was going to come overnight and I was going to be able to just like post daily and I was going to get all these subscribers and it was going to be great. But no, it's just not realistic. I told myself on this channel that I was going to post weekly. Now, I'd say like 60% of the time, no, that's pushing it. I'd say 50% of the time I actually adhere to that, and the other 50% of the time I don't. But if I was to like harp on myself and like put myself down for like how inconsistent I am with posting, I would just be so miserable. What I have to do is I have to pat myself on the back for at least like, yes, I'm inconsistent and it's not good and I do want to improve on that, but at least I've never given up. I've been doing this for a little over 2 years, and even though like I might miss a week or 2 or 3, when I have the time to catch up, I catch up and I get myself back on track. And I've never given up on this channel. We've gone through some plateaus, but I didn't give up. I just kept posting. So definitely consistency is going to be even more important now with that, change in the algorithm and all that kind of stuff, and that change to like the monetization settings and everything. Like, it's going to be harder now for people to see my videos because they're not getting as much traffic because they're not monetized. So it's like there's no point in YouTube promoting my videos if they don't have ads on them, because that doesn't benefit YouTube, So knowing that, I have to like work extra hard, and honestly I must say I have not been doing that. So I have to be aware. You have to be self-aware when you're in this. The next is focus and take responsibility for the process, not the results. So I struggle with this idea a lot. I'm very, very, very much a results-driven person. I try my best to enjoy the process as much as possible, and I do enjoy the process as much as I love doing this right now. I love sitting here talking to you, making this. It's fun. I enjoy it so much. But I don't like reward myself based on that. You know what I mean? Like, I don't get fulfillment from that. I get fulfillment from the results. And that's just like always been my personality. I've taken like a couple different personality tests in like workplace environments with where, they kind of like analyze like the kind of worker that you are based on your personality traits. And I've always gotten like a results driven, like I'm just very results driven. So it's really, really hard for me. I really struggle with this one. I guess my point is, like, don't give up. Like, you can fail, you can make mistakes, you can stop, you can be inconsistent, but just never give up. Give yourself a pat on the back for not giving up. The first step is not giving up. The second step is being consistent, and the step after that is like doing the best quality work consistently. The next point is kind of one and the same, which is find and do what you love to do. Now, if you're enjoying the work that you're doing, it's a lot easier to be consistent with it because you just want to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you're excited to do it. But this also comes into like the whole mental health thing, where I personally have been going through some struggles with my mental health, where when you're depressed, you don't have the motivation to do the things that you usually love doing. It's really like it fucks with your mind, and you just feel lethargic, and you don't have the motivation to do the things that usually are really exciting to you and you're usually pumped to do. Like, YouTube and music are the two things that make me the most excited, and sometimes when, my bouts of depression are coming on, like, it's really hard for me to even want to do those. That's something that the first step, I think, is recognizing that and then working to change that and like take steps to change that with the with the mental health, if that's talking to a therapist or a certified doctor that can give you medication to help you with that, or if it's just being more self-disciplined. Like, there's a lot that goes into it, but it's, again, easier said than done. Okay, so the next one is let go of old self-images. Now, when I read this one, I didn't really understand it at first, but he goes on to say, a few years ago, I saw myself as someone who didn't eat healthy foods or was not athletic or worked out. Even when I started to do it a bit more, I still kind of felt like the person I used to be, living in an unhealthy way. Over time, I started to think more and more of myself as a person who was healthy. So after reading that, I was like, oh, okay, I think I understand what he means. So again, it comes down to just the conversations that you have with yourself in your head, where you tell yourself, like, let's say you're trying to be better at being on time. If you tell yourself, oh, I'm always late, I'm just a tardy person, like, I'm never on time, then you're giving, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, you know what I mean? Like, you're telling yourself that that's who you are, and you're letting that define you. So you're not even giving yourself the chance to live up to the person that you want to be, because you've convinced yourself that, like, that's just who you are. Like, oh, I can't change. So you kind of have to, like, put yourself in the state of mind that, like, you are that person. Like, you are gonna upload consistently, and even gonna is like a dangerous word, you know what I mean? Like, you do upload consistently, you will upload consistently, you are consistent, you love this job, and it's important to you, and it's important to me to upload every week. It's important to me to create content that I'm proud of, and it's important to me to practice my music, and it's important to me to go out to open mics. So you kind of have to change that verbiage in your head, and in order to change your actions as well. And the last one is use reminders in your environment. I'm such a big believer in this. You need to have things around you, whether it's a calendar or a vision board, or like me, I physically have my lighting set up in my bedroom, and when I haven't filmed a video and that lighting setup is just sitting in the middle of my room, it's actually hard for me to like navigate and like get around and like get to my dresser or like get to my closet or get to my bed, because there's this big lamp in the middle of my room and I can't move because it's in my way. And every time I wake up and I look at it, I'm like, crap, I need to film. And just having that visual reminder is so motivating. So if it's having a big lamp in the middle of the room, or having a vision board, or having a calendar, or having a planner. Use reminders in your environment to keep you on task and keep you consistent. So that is all of the tips that I have in this article. The biggest ones that I would say is definitely the accountability and the visual reminders, I would say, are the two easiest ones to start with. And then after that, it will become easier to just, do things when you don't feel like it and have more of like a habitual routine. If you like this format, let me know. If you think there's anything that I can improve on, or it's something that you would be more interested to talk about rather than Momentum Monday type stuff, let me know. Because this doesn't have to be on Momentum Mondays only. We could change it up and do it on like a Women's Wednesday, and maybe like interview somebody that's like, a friend of mine, or somebody that's interesting in the world. I don't know. It will evolve with time, but I'm liking this podcast format. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Make sure to follow me on all the social medias: Facebook, SoundCloud, Instagram, Twitter, and Snapchat at Sidonia Daniela. Search me on there. That's SIDONIA DANIELLA. And I will see you guys next week. This has been consumed, and I hope to hear from you very, very soon.